Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. So if this is your first time of coming to my channel, please subscribe. If I returning subscriber, thank you for stopping by on my channel. And to all my subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. So in today's tutorial, we shall be learning how to make a kimono shift dress. Okay, so this fabric has been folded into two, it's actually into four, because I'll be cutting the front and the back together, and I do not want this is the shoulder line, I don't want it to have any seam there. So all you have to do is cut out the length of your fabric and then you fold it into four. I'm cutting the front and back together. Okay, so the full length I'm working with is 42. The neck width is going to be 3 inches and the neck depth for the back is going to be 1 inch. You can use 1.5 inch if you wish, but for me I'm going to make use of 1 inch, and I'm going to connect the 1 inch neck depth to the 3 inches neck width. For the front neck depth, I am going to mark 9 inches, and on the 9 inches mark I'm going to go in by 1 inch. So I'm going to take this 1 inch all the way down to the hem. This is only applicable to the front. Okay, so after marking that 1 inch all the way to the hem, I am going to connect the lines. After connecting the lines, I am also going to connect from the 9 inches mark to the 3 inches neck width, so the neck width remains the same for both front and back. All right, sleeve length I am working with is 22.5 inches. So this is an Ankara and the length is by 45, so the fold is on the 45 inches. Okay, so it's 22.5, and then I'm going to mark 22.5 all the way down to get a perfect straight line. From the shoulder line, I am going to come down by 11 inches with seam allowance inclusive for joining, which is 1 inch. So the sleeve opening is going to be 10 inches, 1 inch seam allowance for joining. All right, my hip measurement is 44. 44 divided by 4 is 11 inches. So I'm going to add extra 7 inches to it, depending on how free you want it to be. That will determine the amount of ease that you add to yours. So for me, it's going to be 7 inches, and I'm going to use 1 inch for my seam allowance. Okay, so because it's that seam allowance, that 1 inch seam allowance is what we would use to get our encasing for the channel to form the ruching. So I'm going to mark that 11 inches plus 7 inches, which is 18 inches, all the way to the hem, and then I'm going to connect it to the sleeve length or opening. Okay, I am going to blend the armhole part before we cut out. I am going to cut out the sides first before cutting out the back neckline, and then we'll separate it to cut out the front neckline. I've separated the back from the front, as you can see. So this is the back neckline here, and then this is the front. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out. So I'm going to start from that 1 inch mark that I made earlier, and then I'm going to cut out. After cutting out, this is what I have. So this is the front part. Okay, so remember I told us that the shoulder is not going to have any joining. All right, and this is the side. So what I'm going to do now is to turn it right sides facing each other. So I'll go to my sewing machine and then I'll sew it down by 1 inch on both sides. So I'm going to take 1 inch seam allowance here, and then I'm also going to take 1 inch seam allowance here. I'm done joining the sides. So this is it. I've sewn it. Can you see? I've not ironed it. So, and this is the second side, which I've sewn also. So now the next thing we are going to do is to measure what we have from the hem. So you are going to measure it from the hem all through to the neck, and then you measure from the other side too, all the way to the hem. So whatever measurement or value you get, you are going to cut out a strip of fabric. So this fabric is 2 inches in width. Okay, so this fabric is, the wideness is 2 inches. So what I want for my collar is 1.5 inch. So after taking out 1/2 inch for seam allowance, I'm going to have 1.5 inch left. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to get the midpoint. And yes, I joined it. You may not be able to see it on camera, but it has joinings around the hem and also at the midpoint of the neckline. There is joining there. So what I'm going to do now is to get the midpoint of here. There is a crease line here, I can see it. So I'm going to place it like so. So I'll take it to my sewing machine. I'll place it this way. Okay, and then I'm going to sew it all the way to the hem, from one end to the other end, and then from one end to the other end, all the way to the hem. So after sewing it, I am going to close this sleeve opening. I'm going to hem it. I'll also weave the inside and also weave the collar. Okay, I'll also hem the down part, and then I'll give it a good press. I'll come back and show us how to fix our drawstring by the sides and also close the center front if you wish. I am done sewing. I'll fix the collar. Can you see how nice I pressed it after fixing it? Can you see how nice and beautiful it is looking? Okay, so the next thing I am going to do is to take it to my sewing machine, because the style we are creating, the front is closed, okay, except for the neck area. So I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and then I'm going to overlap this one. This is the right hand side and this is the left hand side. So the right hand side will overlap the left hand side. Okay, so you're going to decide the depth of your neckline for the front. That is how open you want the front to be. So from the shoulder, I am going to come down by, so I can decide to use 9 inches. So I'm going to come down by 9 inches, which is here. Okay, so this part is going to overlap here like so, and then I'm going to start sewing from this point, and then I'll sew it all the way down. I'm going to overlap it and sew it down. Okay, so after sewing it down, the next thing you're going to do, if you want pockets, I do not want pockets, you can fix pockets before top stitching it. It's optional. If you want, you can wear it like this as a kimono. Okay, but I'm going to top stitch it because I'll be wearing it to church. I want to wear it as a dress. All right, so, and I do not want pockets at the front. But if you want pockets at the front, just go ahead and cut a fabric that is 8 inches in width, 8 inches in length, and then you measure from your shoulder to your half length. Okay, let's say your half length is 17 inches. You can use your bust span, just more bust span from this center front. You come in here by at least 3 to 4 inches, and then you fix your pocket. You top stitch your pocket. Okay, now to the hem, which is the drawstring by the side, I've already fixed this one, which is the reason I told us to use 1 inch for your seam allowance on the inside. So can you see what I've done? So I hope you can see it clearly. So the seam allowance was what I used to create my casing for the rope. Okay, so I've cut it out and I've sewn it. So this is it. The length of this is about 20 inches to 21 inches. Okay, I have here 20 inches. So I cut out 2 for one side, 2 for the other side. So, and I've sewn this one. Okay, so now to the second side, which is here. So what you are going to do before you fix your rope, now look at this, I made a correction here, because remember I didn't create a new casing for the rope. So what I did was I opened here up, okay, the side seam, and then I hemmed it. After hemming it, and then I will take it to my sewing machine and now close it up. Okay, I'll now finish up the sewing here. All right, so after sewing it, I am going to open it up like so. Can you see? And then you are going to bring one of your ropes, and then you are going to measure. For me, I measured 10 inches upward. So from the hem I marked 10 inches. So you can take it higher. Your rope can be longer than this, but I just want 10 inches. So I want something that is decent enough for me to wear to church. So 10 inches high, and then I'm going to put this inside here. Can you see? So when you put it inside, I'm going to put the second one too on this side. So when you pass it this way, you are going to run a top stitch here to hold down the rope. Okay, after sewing it down, then you start closing the edge. So when you are sewing down this side, the sides, make sure you're not sewing on the rope. Push the rope inward, and then you sew it down, and also sew it down on this other side. So I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. I'll sew down the sides so that the rope will give me the ruching by the side, and then I'll also close the center front together. So now with this one that I've done here, look at the way it is. So I'll be able to draw it upward like so. So can you see? And then I have my drawstring effect. Can you see? So if you want something that's okay, or that you want it to go up more, so it just depends on you. So I just want something that I can just drag up like this, and then I'm good to go. So I'm okay with this length. From the hem upward, I marked 10 inches, and then I fixed my rope. So I'm going to go ahead to my machine, close the center, create the channel for the other side of the rope, and then I'll place it on the mannequin or dress form for us to see what it looks like. This is the final result of this beautiful kimono shift dress. You can see the drawstring effects on the sides. So if this video has been helpful, give it a thumbs up, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for stopping by on my channel. See you in my next one. Bye.